Legion of Superheroes Millennium Issue 1 sees Rose Forrest meet with someone, saying it took courage for her to come and meet them, since what she's going to say is hard. The person she is seeing knows Rose is telling the truth, as Rose introduces herself, saying they met once and she used to call herself Rose and Thorn, as in she was two separate people. She says Thorn used to be a vigilante, and while Rose doesn't have a taste for the life of a hero or a villain or a vigilante, Thorn does, and is all about that, often biting off more than she can chew, and luckily she doesn't remember any of it, but would see it on the news from time to time. The person she is talking to is Supergirl, or as Rose calls her, Madam President. Kara remembers Rose now, saying that she suffered from a multiple personality disorder, and years ago a cure for her situation was made by Lex Luthor, and she's been on the meds for years, but now they have discontinued her medication, and when she runs out, she knows something will happen since Thorn will come back after being locked up for a long time. Kara learns that they have stopped the meds because people don't have that problem anymore, so Kara begins to think of any of the people she knows who can help her. Rose realizes she doesn't understand, saying they stopped the drug because there are no people alive or being born with that problem anymore. It doesn't actually exist anymore. She still has that problem because she's lived for a very long time, and is the same age as Kara, although she looks younger. Kara had a hunch that something was different and wonders if maybe something happened to her, and something did, as Rose says something happened when she was Thorn, while fighting the Suicide Squad with Naomi, causing her to wake up in Arkham. Rose says that her husband died years ago of old age, and she should have seen that as her first clue that she doesn't age now. Rose is worried that if Thorn is to get out, she is going to be mad, but Kara says everything will be okay. Years later, Thorn does get out, taking the fight to the gangs of Neo Gotham. She kills her way through the men as Batman arrives, saying he's been looking for her. Batman kicks her down, but she grabs an orb device, touching Terry's chest and shutting down his suit before continuing to kill the gang members. Later on, Thorn wakes up Terry, asking who his tech guy is since she hates hers. Thorn wants to know why he dresses up like Batman, and Terry asks why she murders criminals. Thorn gets mad, wanting Terry to answer the question, and Terry knows something happened to her and he can help her, but she isn't interested, saying playing hero doesn't work out and everything stays the same. Terry disagrees, since it was a lot worse and it could be a lot more worse without them. Terry wants to know how Thorn thinks tying him up makes anything any better, and how does more bloodshed stop bloodshed. Thorn says there is a cycle of resets, rebirth, and reboot over and over again, and then suddenly stops, asking Terry if he is the original Batman. Terry says that he isn't, and she knew since Terry is way too young, and she thought when and if Batman catches up to her, he will have the answers because he is Batman. But Terry is just another baby, and for a second there she thought he was like her. Thorn leaves, saying she still doesn't know how this world works, and it sucks because she is stuck in it. In the future, Kamandi steals back a Superman suit from a being who wants to use it to rule as the Mighty One. The suit is given to Ben Boxer, who is the rightful owner of it until the Mighty One returns. A woman revealed to be Rose arrives, but is stopped from touching it by the Elder, who says the costume is under his protection. She asks what the land used to be, wondering if it was the Fortress of Solitude or the Hall of Justice, but the Elder merely says that everything she sees is his. Rose grabs her sword, killing the Elder and donning the Superman suit, upset it doesn't give her powers like the internet said. Kamandi returns, saying it doesn't belong to her, but Rose lies, saying it belonged to her father. The boy is shocked and tricked into thinking Superman is behind him, allowing Rose to run off with the costume. Kamandi soon follows her, seeing a huge building in the distance and hearing a buzzing sound he's never heard before. He calls for Rose, saying that they can work this out as Rose escapes towards the strange building. Later in the future, Rose tries to sign up to be a Planeteer, especially if it means it will get her off the Earth. The android she talks with wonders if there's trouble at home and knows Rose needs someone to talk to, but she doesn't want to talk to anyone ever again, since she's sick of all of the useless talking she's heard. Man, Tommy, knows that she is 65 years old and says she can't join the Planeteers thanks to her psychological assessment. Rose wants to talk to someone higher up, but there isn't anyone, and Tommy has called the science police as she has been determined to be a threat. The police soon arrive, and Rose says that is not her actual name. It's Thorn, and Thorn hates when people embarrass her, which means Tommy is about to be killed by her. Rose and Thorn run from the police, stealing a janitor's hoverbike and speeding away, scared for their life. Legion of Superheroes Millennium Issue 1 began the new saga of the Legion of Superheroes. Well, it really kinda didn't, because surprisingly, there is actually no mention of the Legion at all, instead focusing on Rose Forrest. Bendis has kind of been bringing back over in Action Comics, and now she has somehow become immortal and lives through many different eras, finally landing in the year the Legion are supposedly from, although it's hard to say since there isn't actually any dates given. The comic was pretty competently written, with Rose trying to find a cure for her disorder and to return home, and it makes me think that Bendis was being highly editorialized here, since a lot of his many Bendisisms don't really come through in the writing, or if they do, it's in really small doses, usually one panel or two. It was a fun story to watch unfold, but really, there's not really any ties to the Legion here at all, and obviously there are going to be ties later in the issues since we've seen them, but here, for a first issue, this was a very strange place to start. I'm going to give this issue a 7 out of 10.